How you guys feeling? You guys ready to dive back into the action?
Nope, not at all.
Definitely not.
I don't like the
Do it
emphasis you
anyways.
put on dive. I don't want to die again.
Well, I mean, I can't really control that, can I? Or maybe I can.
Can't you? Yeah, I was about to say, you can?
Hey, sometimes the dice say things happen, and sometimes your fellow players choose certain actions that might not necessarily go the way they intended. Just saying. Just saying. How's everybody feeling now?
Worse.
Whatever,
Right.
man.
My job is done. I'm out.
Let's get it. Let's get it.
Thank you for joining us, everyone. As we join our adventure once again, let us recap the shenaniganery that has occurred in recent weeks. Our illustrious crew of characters that have claimed for themselves a crashed airship high in the Stormsong Mountains of this vast land known as the Valorian Imperium. They have spent a considerable amount of time, energy, and effort into restoring this crashed airship, seeing it as a potential escape, a way to get out of their life here in the Imperium. Harder for some than it is others, but this place seems, for at least these individuals anyway, to not be a place that they want to remain too much longer. But of course, there are things pulling them back in. There are obligations, there are connections that they must deal with before they reach the point at which they can exit and find some new place in which to lay their hats. For now, though, as we come back into scene, we find our companions having journeyed down the Stormsong Mountains after one of these aforementioned connections. The father of two of our characters, Mira and Adi, had communicated a call, a request to meet to discuss the ongoings of strife taking place in the nearby city of Orlustrin that many of them have called home in the past. A seemingly ambush likely, they ventured down the mountain nonetheless. Some drama associated to that venture was not enough to hold them back, and sure enough, shortly after arriving at the edges of the Siltwood, in the foothills of the Stormsong Mountains, wherein they met the twins' father, Varric, individuals emerged from the tree line nearby, clergy members, one of which they recognized immediately, most of them anyway, someone who had taken Mira hostage some weeks ago, Joran, a high-ranking inquisitor within the clergy, seemingly now having followed the twins' father, seeking them, apparently. As he emerged, he had choice words for Bren and his two companions, two very large individuals, stoic, wearing heavy dark armor and brilliant red cloaks, stood flanking him, seemingly prepared for battle, weapons drawn and at the ready. And as we come back into this scene, these individuals having emerged from the tree line, I need to ask you all, what do you do?
All right, so this guy identified me. We have to kill him, right? Like, that's the plan. Like, we're just gonna have to.
I don't think we can.
Okay.
That's quitters talk.
As you say that, Kay, you hear a little bit of a chuckle escape Ejorin's lips. And he takes just a half a step forward, crosses his arms in front of him. And as he crosses his arms, you can see the glint of this gorgeous looking band of metal upon one of his wrists. It glimmers in the light in such a way as to pique interest. And Andrew, Violet can feel an eminence of power coming from what he wears upon his wrist. And there's a brief moment where everyone else sees glistening shine of what is apparently some mithril-like metal. Violet sees an inky blackness wafting as it shifts upon his wrist, almost like a shadow that lingers for an extra half second. And when he steps forward, that half step, he stares across at all of you and says, "I wouldn't try anything if I were you. It will not go well. You should surrender yourselves now and face judgment."
80 would look back at their dad and just sort of see what his expression looks like, get an emotion check.
Give me an insight check.
You betcha.
You do have advantage on it because you are reading the emotions from your dad.
That's great. Cool. 23.
23. There is a feigned look of shock and surprise on your father's face as these individuals stand there. And you can feel the adrenaline rushing through him. There's a touch of fear as well, very much directed at the individuals that have emerged from the forest. But there's also an adrenaline there that is causing a turmoil of emotion within him. And as he looks at you, seeing you glance back at him, he catches your eyes with his for a brief moment, and there's a wink. Subtle nod and a wink as he turns his gaze back to the others.
Quit messing with my fucking head. Okay, yeah. She'll just look back at what's happening.
Mira would
I would
have
have.
pulled out the sending stone and kind of stepped behind a couple people to try and stay somewhat hidden, and just said, "Dad was followed. We need Ren."
There's a moment's pause, but you get a response back. "Okay, I'll find her." As you hear Phelan's voice, you know that it's going to take her a long time to get down here. But you have to hope at the very least that Phelan can deliver that message. As you do that, your father sees you do it and takes steps forward, moving up to be slightly in front of the rest of you, seemingly trying to distract from what you're trying to do, provide you a little bit of cover. As he steps forward and he says, holding up his hands, he says, now, there's no reason for any violence or anything like that. I'm sure that all of this can be resolved peacefully, yes? As he does that, Ejoran kind of looks at him directly and says, "Oh, I think you gave up that privilege when you were spying on us." Varric kind of turns and looks back at, we'll say, Bren being closest to him. Bren, you can see this kind of "oh shit" expression upon his face as he glances back at you.
What? Is that bad that they knew?
Probably a little bit bad that they knew. Just, we need to buy some time, okay? Can you do something? Buy some time?
How much time do you need?
I don't know. Just some time. And as he says that, the three figures all take a couple of steps forward. And
Wait, hold on now,
Ejoran
everybody.
is like pulling his sleeves up.
Okay. We will come to you and surrender. Just, can we gather our things?
Give me a deception
wait.
check, please.
Before I do that, I look at, what was the name of the head guy again?
Ejoran, yeah.
Yeah.
DiGiorno.
Did you? I look at Dijon.
I give up.
And I say,
I can't make things anymore.
I look at Jordan and I go, think of it as a final request of a talisman holder before you bring him to justice. Just a few moments to get our things.
Give me a deception check. And now you have to roll at a disadvantage because the moment you say talisman holder, you see his neck starting to turn red and his jaw clench tightly as you have insulted the notion of wearing a talisman.
Whatever. It's gonna be one of these fucking nights. It's a nat one.
Okay. Seeing as how no one will be surprised by this, I'm going to have all of you roll initiative now.
Shit.
And just tell me what you get, please.
Sis got 11, so not
Oh,
amazing.
I'm not doing this.
All right.
13 for 80.
Nice.
6.
Nice.
5.
Got 14.
So Violet
14.
got the best of all of you. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's time to refer to Owlbear. Let's just step them up a little bit here. Varric had kind of moved up to the front to there. Right. So as Bren finishes this request and kind of holds out his hands and is seemingly without enough conviction in his voice to convince these individuals to just give them a moment, you see the two red-cloaked individuals step forward. As they emerge forward, this first one that has two swords drawn just completely charges into you and is going to take one swing at Bren and one swing at 80. Hey, Bleak, I think you need to refresh Owlbear. saying that the map isn't updating. It'll catch back up in a second, Laurel. There we go. Yeah, I see it. Who moved that? Bleak. Stop moving tokens.
Save us.
Yes. So, first attack. Just make sure I have the right guy clicked. Yes, I do. All right. First attack is going to be, I'll do the first one on 80. That is going to be a 21 to hit.
Yes, that does hit.
Does it?
In a big way.
He sinks a divine smite into this. So you take a total of 10 points of slashing damage and 21 points of radiant damage.
Arcane Rebuke.
Technically, you don't have a reaction yet.
God damn it!
Because you haven't taken your turn.
Sorry, so that's a total of 31 points of damage?
Uh-huh.
Is that correct? Okay.
Yes.
Thanks, just clarifying.
Yep. 31 points. And then he gets a swing with his other blade onto Bren. That is a 19 to hit.
Hits.
And so it is 12 points of damage, and you need to make a charisma saving throw, please.
Arcane Rebuke. No, I'm just kidding. It's a 10. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I read that wrong. It's a 7.
Okay. You feel a compulsion rise up in your chest, a pure hatred of this individual, and you must attack him on your turn and can do no other actions except to harm this individual. So any actions that you take, it can be any actions, as long as their result is an attempt to harm this individual. As you feel this divine power surge out of this red-cloaked man and just consume you with a kind of rage. The other one is going to charge forward and do an attack on Sisk.
Hurt the spy, not me. It's right in front of you.
Oh, don't worry about that. So that's a 26 to hit.
No, it doesn't. Thanks.
You sure?
Yeah, it hits, of course.
Pretty sure it does. And as his sword swings out at you, you see it shimmer with light, and in a cleaving sweep, it also gets Varric in the sweep. And so you both take 12 points of slashing damage and 12 points of radiant damage.
Boy, oh boy. I have immunity to all damage.
Don't think that's how that works. Unless you're down. Are you dead?
No, not yet.
Okay. Mira and 80, you all see this sword bite into Varric as he shies away from it. He takes it like square in his side under his arm, trying to deflect it away. He screams out in pain as his blood goes flying. And then the other individual, Ejoran, starts running forward, and then you see his feet almost blur as he takes an enormous leap into the air, and he flies over top of all of you, landing next to Violet. He strikes out at Violet with a fist. Oh, That's only an 11 to hit.
Doesn't hit.
So I'm assuming 11 misses. 19, however, I think will hit as he follows it up with another strike from his other fist. I need for you to make a strength saving throw, please.
$16.
You succeed. You feel him attempt to knock you back. And as you do not, he follows it up with 2 kicks. The first kick... Oh, I'm sorry. You also took 7 points of bludgeoning damage. The first kick is a 16 to hit.
That's my armor class, yeah.
Only 5 points of damage, but you also need to make a Constitution saving throw.
Uh, 20.
Okay, you feel his kick land squarely in your chest, and you grimace against the power of it, and you feel your vision start to distort for a second, but you clench your jaw through it, and your vision comes clear once again. And then he follows up with one last kick. Oops, that was the wrong dice. There we go. Only a 12.
Misses, yeah.
As you deftly duck out of the way of all of these strikes, you see him kind of getting frustrated a little bit at your avoidance of his attacks. And in particular, the ones that he does land do not seem to be landing with the effectiveness that he wants. And that brings us to Violet.
Yeah, as Violet's kind of ducking the blows, she'll summon her wings out and then summon a dagger into her hands and try to stab him.
Okay, go for it.
Oh, it's a 9.
9 misses.
All right.
You do have an advantage from Varl from earlier if you wanted to use it, just saying.
I use it now. I feel like I'll need it later.
Okay. What else do you want to do?
Oh, that'll be it, I think. Let me just check real quick. Yeah, that'll be it.
Oh, right. Yeah, you use your bonus action to summon the wings, right?
Mm-hmm.
As Violet's wings, spectral wings, kind of emerge from her back, you see his eyes go wide as if he was not expecting you to do that. And for the briefest of moments, you see a hesitation in his eyes. That brings us to 80.
Hey, so 80 gets violently stabbed and is bleeding pretty badly. So as she kind of like stumbles back, you see this mist and she disappears, and she'll cast Misty Step as a bonus action.
Okay.
And she's going to just sort of draw back a bit. And then before my action, I am going to cry a little bit. And yeah, I'll just leave it at that.
No action?
I mean...
You have a potion.
Oh yeah, I have a potion. I'm going to take a potion. Totally going to do that. Thanks. Okay.
I love the fact that even when you have them...
Listen. All right, well that's helpful. That's 20 points of healing using
Nice.
this greater healing potion. Thanks for the reminder.
As 80 consumes this potion, the bitter taste of it, perhaps the bitterness of her own blood in her mouth, it subsides as the feeling of warmth and somewhat discomfort of her body as the momentary pain of the wounds, like stitching themselves back together, overcomes her. That's amazing. Are you going to move, or are you going to stay there? Because you still have your movement.
Yeah, I'll move just a little bit. I really don't like leaving all my friends in the front lines, but I also don't want to die today, so I'll back up a bit.
I mean, you could always try just pulling out the dagger and stabbing him in the throat. That's worked for a bunch of other guys for 80 in this game.
I'm saving that for later, okay?
Oh,
Don't
right.
ruin-
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cool. Sisk, you're up.
Okay, first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna immediately take my potion of my greater potion. So give me a sec on that, please and thank you. 8 plus 8, so that's 16. I'm feeling quite a bit better now. And then I am going to take one of my psychic blades and I'm going to cast Booming Blade on it. So if I hit, I will do an extra d8 damage, and then if the character I hit moves
Right.
voluntarily, they'll take more. Yeah.
Yep.
So give me 1 second. That's not looking good. I'm going to use my advantage that Varl gave me, please.
Alrighty.
I rolled another 6. So,
Oh, no.
it is nothing. Thanks. I'll see you at next round.
As your psychic blade summons into your hand and you slash out at this individual, you see their eyes behind their helmets kind of looming towards you as if beckoning the blade to strike at them. And that resolve in them kind of falters your own resolve, and the blade kind of doesn't fully form in your hand. And when you pull it back, you have to will it back into existence in your hand as you are unable to connect with this red cloak.
I'm going to yell, he's too excited.
Mira, you are up.
Right. I am going to hex Ijorin,
Okay.
and then I'm gonna move forward just a tiny bit. And I am going to cast Poison Spray. Because I'm gonna give him disadvantage on con saves.
So Hex does not affect saving throws. It only affects
It
ability
doesn't?
checks.
Fuck. Well, all right, fine. I'll do it anyway.
Okay.
So he's got to make a con 16 save.
All right. He fails.
Yes. Eight damage. God, I rolled fucking balls. And then
Is there any additional effect, or is it just damage?
It's just
Also, what kind of damage is it?
poison damage.
Poison damage? Okay.
Yep. It is just damage. And then I'm gonna move back.
Did you remember the extra d6 from the Hex?
Nope, I didn't. So stressed, I can't keep it all straight. Ooh, but that's a 6.
Nice. So, as this spray of poison wafts out of your hand, summoned from nothingness, and you see it splatter across his form, it does, when it comes into contact with his flesh, it does sizzle and cause a burning sensation. But then you see a pulse of necrotic energy from your hex alight upon it, as your magic kind of wills it to be more than it should have been. But at the same time, he seems to kind of shrug off some of the poison aspect. It doesn't seem to harm him quite as much as you would have liked.
Of course it doesn't.
Anything else?
Nope.
All right. That brings us to Varric. Varric disengages from this man that has slashed him, and staggers backward this way, severely injured, reaches into a pouch at his side and drinks his own potion. You see the wound on his side starting to heal up as he grimaces through that pain. And then he starts fumbling around and eventually pulls out a ring and places it upon his finger. And as he puts it on his finger, he thrusts his hand forward, and you see this bolt of force fly out from the ring and slam into the man that had assaulted him. Let's see if it actually technically hits. Oh yeah, that's a 21 to hit, so that definitely hits. So you see this bolt of force slam into this man. And he takes a good chunk of damage and then flies 15 feet over to there. Does not provoke opportunity attacks or the booming blade because it was forced movement instead of, willing movement. But he gets thrust away from you, Violet and Sisk. And that brings us to Bren.
Okay. I have a series of questions, Miko. Okay. So the first thing you said that this feeling of needing to attack this person, is it continuous?
It's still affecting you as of this moment.
Okay. Administering a potion to yourself, bonus action?
Oh, you can't. Right now, all you can do is take actions that will result in the harm of this individual.
What if that falls along those lines?
Healing yourself does not harm him.
Would you consider taking a potion a bonus action?
It would be a bonus action, but it's healing. If it's a healing potion to yourself, then can't do it.
Okay. The last question, then I'm gonna start doing stuff. The helmet that this dude is wearing, can I see any part of his face?
Sure.
Yeah?
You can see flesh under there. It's not like fully covering every aspect of his face. You can see flesh around his eyes, and we'll say that there is like a slit down the middle that you can kind of see a bit of his nose and mouth.
Cool. What I'd like to do is I'd like to cast heat metal on this dude. So he needs to make a con save.
All right. That's a 14.
Oh, dude, he just makes it. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. So it doesn't happen.
I think it does. It just means that he doesn't suffer.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure heat metal is automatic damage, right?
You have to make a con. It's a con save on there, from what I can see.
The con save is to take off the helmet.
Oh, to take off them. Okay, so then he just gets the automatic damage.
Yeah, you deal damage to him. If you cast it at higher than second level, it's extra d8, but its base damage is 2d8.
So he takes 16 point of damage because I'm using it at third.
Okay. Yeah, the Constitution saving throw is only for him to drop it. And because he succeeded, I will say that on his turn, he could, throw the helmet off.
Oh, I'm focusing on his chest plate.
Oh, never mind. Then he's just fucked.
Sick.
Well, welcome to the world of microwaves.
So being right, bonus action. I'd like to take that potion of that gaseous form potion.
Again, you can only take actions that result in him harming or being harmed.
All right, I would say the whole plan. You let me know if it works. I want to take the potion. I want to go into the gaseous form. I want to go into his nose through his helmet. And being that he's being heated up by the metal, it's going to expand it to where he would need to make a contested strength against what I'm doing on the inside of him.
You're going to take damage too.
I know.
Okay. I'll allow it.
I love this.
So Bryn pops it, goes into gaseous form, shoots right up into the guy's helmet, through his nose, in his body, and being that he's already heating up, he's gonna expand because he's a gas. And so yeah, it would be my strength versus his, but being that I'm in gaseous form, I get advantage on strengths.
Okay. Just
got
trying to figure
chills.
out how much damage this is going to be. So, all right, yeah, here we go. Let's just do it this way. You need to make a contested strength check to see if you can force your way into his lungs.
Okay. I just got so nervous. Here we go.
I only got a 10.
I got a 10 too.
High goes to the player.
Okay, cool. So
So-
I'm making it in his lungs.
As Bren consumes this potion, you all see his form turn first ethereal as the magic kind of washes over him, and in an almost like roar of rage, it just poofs into this mist, and you can kind of vaguely see his form in this mist until it very quickly surges forward and shoots up into the helmet of this man. I'm just going to move you kind of back here for now. Into this man's helmet, and he fights against it. His chest piece is glowing red hot as he, fights against this swirling mist. And then all of a sudden you hear this, and you can't see Bren anymore as his mist form gets pulled into this guy's helmet. So go ahead and roll 48 damage. And you're going to take half of this damage yourself.
Okay.
You will do the full damage to him. And then however much damage you do, you're going to take half.
He takes 25 points of damage on top of the 16 that he just got.
Nice. And you took 12.
12. Another 12. Yeah.
What is Bren's constitution score?
+3.
Score, so 16?
Oh, it's a 17.
17? Okay, then you don't need to make a concentration check on the heat metal
Cool.
from
That's
damage. Okay. That was pretty crazy, man. Just saying. That was some crazy thinking there. All right, that brings us actually back to this guy's turn. So he can't take off the chest piece. He's currently suffocating. I'm gonna give him. Let's do. I feel like for him it's going to be Constitution, and then for you I'll say it's either Constitution or Strength to see if he can expel you from his lungs. Yeah, we'll do that.
Okay, cool.
Well, I'm pretty sure you're going to beat a 4.
Yeah. Is it a save or just a check?
It's a save. It's doing it as like a contested save type thing.
Got it. So. Yeah, I do. I got a 7.
Also, on his turn, you get to make a charisma saving throw to see if you shake off the effects of the enchantment that he put upon you.
I'm going to use my advantage from Varl on this.
You can wait and see what you roll first.
No, I'm going to take the advantage. We're good. I got you said charisma, you said?
Yeah.
15.
Okay. You do manage to just barely fight off the urge to harm this man. You probably still want to harm him, but you can focus a little bit more now. Okay. He cannot expel you. I will say that he can stagger forward and take a swing at Sisk, but he will be at disadvantage to actually swing at you, Sisk, and he's only going to be able to strike at you once. So that is a natural 2 for a total of 7.
Yay!
As this red cloak is staggering to strike at you, Sisk, you pretty deftly avoid it. The other one now actually is going to do willed movement, so I guess your booming blade goes off again, right?
I didn't hit them, so I don't think it.
Oh, that's right. You didn't hit him. Never mind.
Yeah. It was a big whiff.
Yeah, big whiff. He is going to step forward and just to get... Oh, actually, you know what? No, he's going to go for the twins. Are you kidding me? He moves just out of range of Violet and charges at the twins with his greatsword. So that is a 20 to hit. And I need to compare that against both of your armor classes, please.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You both will take only 9 points of slashing damage. And I need for the two of you to please make wisdom saving throws.
$18.
Okay.
7.
Okay. So you both take this damage, and Mira, you can feel as this blade cuts into you, you feel this surge of sickness in your chest, and your eyesight starts to cloud a little bit, and there's a brief moment where you feel all of the rage in the world targeting your sister. And you look over at her and you shake your head and will it out. But as you're staring at 80, you see fire in her eyes. You see hatred in her face as she snarls at you and very obviously wants to do you harm.
Well, now I'm gonna arcane rebuke this fucker.
Okay, you can absolutely arcane rebuke him now.
18 damage.
Okay, nice. So Beth, on your turn, you feel compelled to do nothing but harm to your sister.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
As you feel this rage bubble up inside of you. Now it is Ejorin's turn. Ejorin, having both Sisk and Violet next to him, is going to split up some attacks there. So first attack is going to be with Fist at Violet. That's an 18 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
It's 6 points of damage. And you need to make a constitution, or no, I'm sorry, dexterity saving throw.
25.
You feel as his fist connects with your jaw, you feel off balance, like you're about to fall, and you quickly, with dancer's grace, are able to spin around and keep your footing underneath of you. The other fist is going at you, Sisk.
Okay.
That's a 21 to hit.
That hits.
For
I'll protect. I'll shield K. If I can. The +5 to your AC.
Oh, fuck. So what did you say, 21? Oh, that would only bring me to 20.
Too bad.
So you
Thank
took 10 points of bludgeoning damage, actually, and you need to make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay. All right, that's not bad. 17?
You also are able to keep your footing.
Sweet.
He then spins around and does a wide sweeping kick at each of you. Against Violet, it is only an 8, which I think misses, pretty sure misses. Against Sisk, it is a 17.
If the shield did not go through, then that hits.
Does the shield, is this the shield spell?
Yeah, it's the guardian wing. I don't have to use a
okay.
reaction every time, but I think I
Yeah.
only get 3 uses of it. So
Okay, so it does catch upon Violet's wing, as inches away from Sisk's face. Ejoran's foot is stopped, and as that happens, Violet, you notice Ejoran getting more and more frustrated, and you see the metallic band upon his wrist kind of ripple with darkness in response. That brings us to Violet's turn.
yeah, I still have my knife out and I'll try to stab him again. But I want to ask him, what do you want from us? You want judgment? I've already been judged by you and your people. What more do you want from me?
You haven't been judged yet.
Look at my fucking ears, buddy. You've already took my entire life, my family. What more can you take?
Your breath.
Oh, fuck off. And I'll stab him.
Okay.
A 20 to hit.
That hits.
Can't do math in my head right now. I'm so stressed. 7 times 2.
14.
14 points of damage.
Okay.
And that'll be it.
Anything with your bonus action?
No.
Dual wield? Other blade?
Yeah, I could. Yeah, sure. Why not? $22 to hit.
That hits.
Yeah, let's go.
And that's just when it's dual wield, it's just my attack die.
Yeah, it's just your attack die, no dex.
It's 2 points of damage.
Every 2 points matters. As Violet engages with Ejoran and his obvious hatred of her spits across his lips, she strikes out with her blades, catching him in a couple of spots on his body, sending blood spraying. He grimaces in pain from it, very obviously. And then he seems to kind of relish in the challenge that you are. That brings us to 80.
Okay, so in this fit of murderous rage, 80 will grab the push dagger from her boot and tackle Mira and stab her with it.
Are
in
you
the
going to
side.
try? Are you going to try to wrestle her to the ground first, or are you just going to stab her?
I will stab while I'm trying to tackle her, I think was my thought.
If I can, I would shield Mira with a wing with my reaction.
Okay.
Another +5 to your AC.
Just
Okay.
remember, you're not going to get your reaction back for a while.
I know.
Okay.
That's a 13 to hit.
Doesn't hit.
Okay.
As the wing flies out and bats at 80's hand, the blade goes a little bit wide. Let's get an opposed grapple check from the two of you, please.
Is that just athletics?
Yes.
2.
12.
Consumed by rage.
80 is consumed by rage as Violet is fending her, as Mira is fending her off. Feels you are both, despite 80's obvious mental state, you are both thrown back to being teenagers once again in whatever fight that might have occurred at some point or another over something stupid. And that brings us to Sisk.
Okie dokie. So I am going to try and take a swing at Ejoran in front of me there. Let's see how that works.
Okay.
It does not. I am going to use my bonus action, say, Vi, you eviscerate them, and give her Bardic Inspiration. So she's going to get a D6. She can use it on an ability check, attack roll, saving throw, or if you cast a spell that restores hit points or deals damage, you can roll the die and add it to the damage instead.
Nice.
So-
Combat body.
Sick.
I love that.
I'm assuming you're staying put and not moving.
Yeah, I'm not happy with how this fight's going, so better not do anything different.
All right. Sounds good. That brings us to Mira.
Okay. I would like to use my Prodigious Arcana, which lets me cast a spell without using a spell slot.
Mhm.
And I would like to cast Protection from Evil and Good on my sister.
Okay.
And that also gives me a bonus to my AC.
Nice. So what does it look like as you cast Protection from Evil and Good upon your sister and this obvious mental force within her mind washes away?
I think she's still trying to grapple me, and so I just wrap her in a hug and whisper some words into her ear and call her back to herself.
Nice. So yes, 80 immediately comes to her senses as soon as she hears the words of arcane power, and they wash over her form. And the armored individual standing next to you just chuckles with a deep and guttural laugh. This is going to be fun. Anything else on your turn, Mira?
I don't think so.
It is Varric's turn. Varric is seeing the situation as it is, seeing his daughters being attacked by this man. He moves this way around. Doesn't have quite enough movement to get... Oh, actually, yeah, he does. Well, he doesn't want to be standing next to Ejorn. Doesn't have quite enough movement to get into melee with this man. But he reaches out with his other hand into a hidden pocket under his vest, and he pulls out a wand and he points it at this man and utters an arcane phrase, and you see a little mote of light kind of fall away from the tip of the wand and hover for just a few moments before it splits into 5, and all 5 bolts of arcane energy fly across and slam into the man that had attacked his daughters. For a total of 20 points of damage. Not bad. As each one of them slams into him, he turns and looks back at Varric and just says, "You're next, then." And that brings us to Brent.
I have another question.
Of course you do.
Have I reached the shenanigan level of the game yet? That's my question.
What do you got, my friend?
Being that I've gained my senses, I'd like to turn into a bear. Right now, where I am in this guy.
Thank God. I was hoping.
I'll allow it.
Yes. Fuck yeah.
Chest burster.
Just, I think, mechanically, how is this going to work, Miko, before I,
he's
I
dead.
definitely want. Okay, dude, it's so beautiful. Like this guy, he
had 11 hit points, so
you just see Bear Bridges, it's just blood everywhere. It's just, and you know what? That's my turn. I helped.
okay.
Why is everybody silent?
Because that
What did I
happened.
do?
It's my favorite thing that you've ever done, Ian. Just know that.
Your face has said otherwise. Everyone was just like, cool. Okay.
You're a large bear, right?
I'm a very large bear. Okay, I promise I will play the game right from now on, you guys. Thank you for allowing me that.
No, please
You're
don't.
doing just fine. You're doing just fine. You did mark off that very expensive potion you consumed, right?
Yeah, but we
Okay.
had fun.
I'm glad you had fun. That's all that matters. As Bear Bren emerges from inside of this red cloak, an enormous spray of gore and flesh and bits of armor goes flying in many directions. The man's torso and head and arms end up like under a tree, his legs basically crushed underneath of Bren's body, and Bren now stands in gorified bear form, with now all of you more or less surrounding Ejoran. Are you done?
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm good.
Great. So that guy's dead. It is now the sword-wielding guy, seeing the twins kind of embracing like that makes him vomit a little bit inside of his mouth. Seeing his friend get completely obliterated and replaced by an enormous bear causes him to actually vomit a little bit. And He is going to... I think he recognizes how potent Mira is, and he's going to attempt to smite her. So, greatsword slashes up. Oops, that was the wrong thing. That is a 27 to hit.
Nope, that misses.
1 point away from a natural 20. You take 14 points of slashing damage, and I need for you to make a wisdom saving throw, please.
17?
17 does succeed, so you are not frightened of him. However, you do take half of, so this gets rounded to 14 psychic damage.
Cool.
As this blade comes down and slashes across Mira's arms, you feel this burst of power in your mind, pain just filling everything, and you open your eyes and you look at this man just looming over you. Fear starts to grip your chest, and you breathe through it, managing to shake off that immense fear. It is now Ejoran's turn. Ejoran, staring at Violet, clenches the fist that has the ring of metal upon the wrist and lurches that fist in Violet's direction. That is a 23 to hit.
Yep, that hits.
You take 5 points of bludgeoning damage. I need for you to make a strength saving throw. And you also need to, well, actually, you know what? You don't need to make the strength saving throw. You just need to make a constitution saving throw. As you see a burst of dark, horrifying energy lift out of the ring upon his wrist and slam into Violet's chest.
Have you used the Bardic yet?
No, but I'm going to use my advantage to reroll that, and then I will use the park. It's a D6, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
18.
18 is 1 point higher than you needed.
Thank you, Kay.
As you feel the impact of his fist into your chest, you do still take some necrotic damage from this. So let's go ahead and figure that out. It's halved. So that knocks it down to 9 points of necrotic damage. You feel this violent burst of necrotic energy waft over your body. The rest of you see this darkness kind of ripple out from this man's fist and slam into Violet's chest. And Violet, you can feel your soul being pulled from your chest for a brief moment before you will yourself to hold on to it. And barely keeping your feet. I'm assuming you're still standing, actually. Are you?
I have 1 HP left.
Another fist comes flying at Violet. Only a 12.
Misses.
Followed up by a kick. Natural 2. Followed up by one last kick. Dirty 20. Doesn't matter how much damage because his minimum is more than enough. You feel his kick slam into your knees, Violet, and send you falling to the ground. You all see Violet just feet knocked out from underneath of her, slam face first into the ground, and remain unmoving. Not dead yet. Violet, make a death saving throw, please. Okay.
$16.
Sorry, what?
16.
That's one success. It's not a failure. 80. You're up.
Just a quick clarification question. Is there any part of 80 left inside of her right now? Any little...
I don't understand.
The rage and stuff?
Oh, no, that the protection
That's
made
gone?
that go away, yes. That was why she did
great.
the
I
protection
fixed
spell.
it. I
Sitting
can
here
fix
fucking
this, remember? That is my whole
Can
thing.
fix this. Okay, well, in that case, I'm gonna do a magic. I would like to use my chromatic orb right in this guy's chest. Just a...
Yes.
You're at disadvantage if you do that.
Damn.
That's fine.
You can move.
Yeah, I can move, Miko. That's cute. That's really cute. I'll take the disadvantage.
Okay.
Oh, God. Dirty 20?
30-20 hits.
Fucking A. All right, so that's 24 points of fire damage
Nice.
straight to his chest.
Nice.
Um,
He looks injured.
That is wonderful. I am not gonna move or do anything else. Thank you.
No bonus action?
Mm-mm. Nope.
All right. Sisk, you're up.
Okay, this is when I wish I had healing word. I'm gonna put second level cure wounds into Violet. So
You mean
that's
a second level, not two, right?
a second level.
Gotcha.
Yes. So not amazing. 8 hit points to Violet.
Soon as your hands filled with power to heal reach out and touch Violet's shoulder, you hear a gasp from her as her body twitges a bit. She's obviously still prone, but
Better than it was. Perfect. And I'm gonna. I know you just came back from unconsciousness, but I'm gonna need you to not do that again. You get another bardic inspiration.
thanks.
So just thumbs up from the ground.
That's it. Nice.
That's
Good
that's
job.
it.
Mira, you're up.
All right. The hex is still on Ejoran, so I would like to just hit him with. Oh boy, I'm within range, so I'm gonna hit him with another. Nope, I'm not, because he didn't. He took that. Okay, I'm gonna hit him with an Eldritch Blast.
Ejoran?
Eldritch
Yeah.
Blast.
Okay.
26.
That absolutely hits.
Come on, roll high. All right, 8 damage from that, and then another 9 damage. And bonus action, I'm gonna drink my potion because I'm not feeling super well.
Good call. Good call. Varlby Gem tossing out more bits because this guy thinks he's good, I'm sure, but he's wielding necrotic black BS magic. Nice. Love you, Varl.
That is all for my turn.
How much did you heal?
21 points.
Nice. Good roll. Good roll. Let's see. That brings us to Varric. Varric is going to step forward. The hand that he had placed the ring on his finger, with that hand, he reaches down into the satchel at his side, and he pulls out this length of chain, and he swings it kind of like a bat almost at the armored individual, and says, "Stay away from my daughters." And the guy has to make a saving throw, or he has to roll. But yeah, we'll see if he succeeds at the save. That's a 24. So he does succeed. So you guys see this chain kind of enlarge and attempt to wrap around his form. And he just grabs onto the chain before it can fully cinch in and chucks it away. And you hear him say, "Keep your cursed artifacts off of me, fool." And that brings us to Daddy Bear Bryn.
Cool. I'm out of tricks, so we're just gonna go in. We're going to swipe at a Joran with my claws. Please give me something good. 17 to hit.
That hits.
Beautiful. And then so that's 4. It's 8 points of damage.
Okay.
And then for
He
my
is looking
multi-attack,
bloodied.
for my multi-attack, I'm gonna go in for a bite.
Alrighty.
And on this, I'd like to use one of my advantages.
Remember, you get to decide after you roll if you want to use it.
Cool. Either way, both of them are really good. So I'll take the 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 to hit.
That hits.
Ooh, max damage. 8 points of damage in total.
Nice.
Or another additional 8.
Yeah. I knew what you meant. As you slash out and bite at this man's limbs, he flails back at you and is looking around at the harried state that he is in, and you can see that there's a glint of fear in his eyes at this point. Is that it from Bryn?
That's it from Bryn.
Okay. So the guy with the sword down there turns back to 80, having blasted him in the chest. And as he centers his gaze upon you, 80, you need to make a wisdom saving throw, please.
Wonderful. 22.
Okay. You feel a power welling up within you. It is unbridled. It is unfathomable. It's like looking up into the night sky and being overwhelmed by everything that you see, knowing that you are just a tiny speck in the eternal cosmos. And then you blink, and you're staring up at this armored man. As his gauntlet reaches out for you and tries to grab onto your chest, you realize that you were kind of out of it for a moment, and you duck back as his metal fists clenches together, not able to make connection with your chest. He grimaces as he looks at everyone, and then he twists his very large greatsword in his hand and he slams it down into the ground, unable to have affected 80 with what he was trying. As he slams his sword into the ground, a pulse of radiant energy erupts from him. Sisk is just out of the radius of this, thankfully, but everyone else needs to make charisma saving throws, please. Actually, including Yjorn. So your DC is 17.
Natural 20
Ooh.
for 27.
27.
Twins.
Natural 20 for 22.
Damn.
Woo! Suck it.
What'd you get, Ian?
17. I just made it.
Nice. Okay. Hey, Kay, do you want to roll for Varric for me so I'm not rolling all of his stuff?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I maybe it won't go well for him. Oh, he got an 18. Never mind. I can't roll well for me.
Were you wanting it to go bad for the twins' dad?
I don't know.
It's his
Like
fault
that.
we're in this, so
Exactly.
I
He got
mean-
followed.
We don't know that it's his fault
Probably.
exactly.
Is it completely his fault?
Yes. So all of you can feel radiant power kind of erupt into the area, and there's a moment where in your minds you feel this like disorientation happening, and you shake yourselves out of it. You do, however, take half, so 4 points of psychic damage. And I think that 80 is resistant to psychic damage, right?
I am.
No, I don't think so. I mean,
Could have sworn she was, but should say right up there by your hit points what your resistance is.
yeah, it's not.
Oh, okay. Maybe
Yeah.
that's an ability you get later.
I think
Anyway.
so.
Yeah, so you guys took a little bit of psychic damage from that as he tried to do something to cloud your minds and failed. It is Ejorin's turn. So Ejorin, as frustrated as he is, he reaches up and places a hand upon the ring of metal on his wrist. And as he does so, you see cracks starting to form in that ring, and both of his hands turn black, and his eyes become orbs like coal within the sockets. You no longer see human eyes there. And he's going to do some more attacks. These ones he's not focusing. He's just swinging around wildly at everyone. And I'm going to say, because Bren is large, 2 of the attacks are going to be coming at Bren. So first attack at Violet is a dirty 20.
How is
You
this
need-
man rolling so high?
You need to make a Constitution saving throw, please. Second attack is 21 on Sisk. You also need to make a Constitution saving throw.
Okay.
Got
First
13.
attack on 13 is a failure. First attack on Bren is only an 8, which misses. Second attack is a 19, which I'm pretty sure hits.
Yeah.
So Bren, you also need to make a Constitution saving throw. What did you get, Kay?
I got a 9, and I'm debating if I should try and because Varl gave me another advantage. So
Do I get to add a d6 to this from the Bardic?
It's
You
a
could-
saving. I haven't told you the result yet, so
okay, I'm gonna use my advantage from Varl.
okay.
I think I got a 13, which you said did not work. So
Correct.
14 total.
And what did Bren get?
18.
Okay. Bren succeeded. All three of you take 5 points of bludgeoning damage. And you feel your bodies starting to stiffen up.
Violet's down again.
Oh. Okay. Keep note of that. Great. Violet is next. So we'll start with the death save. Raven keeps trying to cast Spare the Dying on you.
It's a 9.
That is a failed death save. Also, at the end of your turn, you need to make another Constitution saving throw. Okay. Mark that down as a failure, but it's not associated to death saves. You all see Violet's skin starting to turn gray. 80, you are up.
What? Okay.
What?
Wait, what? 80 channels some of that super fun rage that she was feeling before, and she is going to stick her hand out between her sister and the big boy here and shoot some magic at DiGiorno. You named him. It's not my fault. All right. We were all thinking it.
Yeah, but you're the one who said it.
I know.
You don't
and
have
I'm
to
gonna keep
give into
saying it.
everything that pops into your cranium, just, pointing that
Yes,
out.
she does. It's very fun.
All right. Cool. So that's 22 to hit, and we're going to go with some fire damage, which means DiGiorno's going to take 14. He's going to be extra crispy, little bubbly cheese. Love it for him.
I almost want to make him immune to fire damage just for that.
Too late.
Would you like to do anything else?
Well, no. I'm very happy where I am, thank you.
Okay. Sisk.
Okay. How is this guy looking in front of me?
He's pretty hurt. He definitely looks a little bit wobbly on his feet, but he's also seemingly giving himself over to some kind of power that you can't quite wrap your head around just yet, so...
Okay.
Wow, Ian.
I'm going to...
I saw that in chat.
I don't think Sis can risk it right now. They're going to do another second level Cure Wounds on Violet.
Okay.
I'm imagining them as like CPR compressions right now.
Just so you know, because Violet saved a death save, or failed a death save, they will not regain consciousness, but you will stabilize them and keep them from dying at least.
I'll use a first level because they will not be conscious regardless, I think. So I think that's 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, 10.
Nice. Better than the second level.
Yeah. And I'll take... can I do just a swing with my offhand?
You have to do an attack action in
To do
order to
that.
be able to do an offhand swing.
Okay. I'm going to Bardic Bren then.
All right.
Go
Bren.
wild.
Nice. At the end of your turn, you do need to make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, me, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
It's an 11.
You all can see the pallor of Sisk's transmuted form because they're still in their disguise. You see the pallor of their skin becoming a little bit ashen gray. And Sisk, you feel your body stiffening up. and you're finding it a little bit harder to move. That brings us to Mira.
Okay, I'm gonna just pop another Eldritch Blast off at DiGiorno? That is gonna be there's a cat in the way. I think it's a 19 to hit.
That'll hit.
Great. Come on, roll high. Just once. All right, that's 8 points of damage, and then the hex is another 5.
Dramatic pause.
You know you're supposed to be throwing more than one Eldritch Bolt when you use Eldritch Blast, right? As your 5th level.
Deb.
Shit. Fuck.
They require
That's why I need
separate
to-
attack rolls. And
That's
you
why I
can target
need
them
to-
at different individuals.
Mhm,
But yes,
mhm.
you do have 2 bolts at the level that you're
Hey,
at.
we're at level 5, folks.
And it's a d6 to each bolt added from Hex if they're at the Hex target.
Amazing. That's another 25.
That hits.
Pokemon.
Okay, 7 plus 3.
And how much was the first bolt total?
8 plus 5, so 13.
So how would you like to do this?
Oh yeah. I think I'm just so mad about the whole situation. Like the fact that they're here and that they tried to turn my sister against me. And so it's just like, I think she sort of takes her hands and like slams them together before she pushes outward. And then it's just a beam of blindingly bright light that just turns him immediately into ash.
Nice. The bolts slam into his body, and as they slam into his body, it isn't flesh that you see tearing off of him from the impact of the blasts. It is ash. It is chunks of almost like granite being pulverized. And you see his skin turn black, in addition to what his eyes and fists had turned into. And he just crumples into a mass of cracked form upon the ground. Would you like to do anything else?
I think that does it for me.
Okay. It is Varric's turn. You can see as you do that, he looks at you wide-eyed, Mira, almost to the point that he is distracted and barely gathers himself back up to do something to this man. You see him, the chain gone, you see him reach down into a boot and pull out a dagger. You can see that it actually has an emblem of the clergy embedded into the hilt. And he thrusts it forward to attack this man that is attacking his daughters. Fortunately, he only got a 14, so he misses. The man just kind of turns and backhands Varric's attack to the side and does not connect. But you can see that he's trying, however feeble that might be. He's trying. It is Brent's turn.
Cool. We're gonna pounce on this dude with my claws. With my claws. 14 to hit.
14 misses.
Okay. Second attack with my bat. It's in that 20 for 24.
That's going to hit.
Beautiful. So that's... Remind me again. Total max plus the die roll.
Yeah, so what's your normal damage?
So it would be 8 if I got max.
So your die roll plus 8.
Got it.
The bite only does a... Wait, how much
1d6
damage
plus
does the
2.
bite do? Oh, okay.
Yeah. The claws are the heavy hitter ones.
Gotcha.
I ignore the 6. It's that 4.
Plus 8 to whatever you got on the
13.
dice.
Yeah, so 13.
Okay. He is still up, but he does look a fair bit wobbly on his feet.
Okay. Yeah, that's me. Let's send this guy home.
Okay. It is now his turn. As we come back around to the start of the round, he looks around at all of you. He sees Ejoran on the ground. You hear him just utter under his breath, "Weakling." And he's going to take a enormous swing as his greatsword just flies around in a big circle at everyone. So that's going to be not against Violet and Sisk. Everyone else will get an attack. That's a 24 to hit compared to all of your armor classes.
Yep.
Yeah.
So each of you is going to take 12 points of slashing damage. And I need for each of you to please make a charisma saving throw. Actually, 80 does not have to make this charisma saving throw because she's still protected.
I'm down.
Good.
I'm going to use one of my advantages.
So Bren reverts back to normal form.
Yep.
He runs out of bare hit points.
Yep.
But that wasn't enough to overflow and take you fully down, was it?
No.
Okay.
Bear-
So you're still
no.
conscious.
So I'm still conscious, yeah.
Yeah, great. Did anyone else drop?
Very close, but no.
And I'm sorry, you said you wanted a what?
Charisma saving throw.
Chris.
I got an 18 on that.
Succeed.
I got a 5.
Ren is frightened. The slash also cuts across Varric's chest, and his eyes go wide, and he holds his hand against his chest, and an enormous amount of blood surges out of between his fingers, and he looks very, very injured at this point. And you also see him go wide-eyed as both he and Bren are now frightened. Mira and 80 are not frightened. They succeeded. But he is going to step past Varric anyway. So Bren, 80, and Mira can all make opportunity attacks against him, but Bren, yours is at disadvantage.
Yeah.
I was going to cast a spell. I got a 14 to hit.
You have Warcaster?
No, of course I don't.
Then you can't cast a spell as an opportunity attack.
Oh, well, then I'll dagger him.
23 to hit for mine.
That hits.
not any better. 14.
3 damage from my
Okay.
dagger.
Your dagger seems to connect a bit with his arm and find a small bit of flesh between a seam as he yanks his arm back. You see him backing away from everyone, his sword out towards you all, but he looks pretty messed up at this point. Violet, you do not need to make a death save. However, you do need to make a Constitution saving throw from whatever lingering effect Joran had hit you with.
Natural 20
What's that?
for 21. I got a natural 20 for 21.
Okay. Mark that down as a success. And then 80, it is your turn. How's 80 feeling right now?
Just about as bad as you can feel before you don't feel anything anymore, Miko.
Nice.
Yep. She's going to cast and blast once again. Send some fire his way, hopefully. We'll see. 15 to hit.
15 misses. Your blast, your small eruption of fire flies out of your hand and towards him, and he bats it away with his blade as it turns to sparks off of his blade.
Cool.
Bonus
cool,
action.
Cool.
Cowering behind your sister.
Yeah, I really can't. I don't want to do anything else.
Fair enough. Sisk.
Okay. Since it looks like most people are stabilized, mostly, I'm gonna step down.
As you go to move, you
Oh,
find that your movement speed is reduced to half.
half. 5, 10.
So you feel it. Every effort to move your body is just awful, and you cannot will yourself to move any faster.
That works. I wanted to cast Tasha's Caustic Brew and make a stream of acid in a 30-foot line from myself, but I don't think
Well, if you're standing there, you're also going to get dad.
I am. Yeah.
So
Okay, so maybe not.
you could move in between Violet and Varric and not get either of them.
Oh, if I could do that, I would like to do that.
Yeah.
Okay. So it is a Dex 15 check. So
Dex is not his strong suit.
I'm using it at level 2 also.
That's an 8.
Yay! He takes 4d4 of acid damage.
Go for it.
Get him, Kay. Get
Yeah.
him.
So that is 8 acid damage, and he's gonna be covered in acid for the spell's duration or until they use their action to scrape or wash the acid off itself. Takes 2d4 at the start of each of its turns. So
Well, unfortunately, you can't take actions when you're unconscious.
Oh,
so
good.
would you like to describe what it is like for this red-cloaked man to basically be acid burned to nothingness?
I mean, it's effectively that these guys died really horrifically with a bare chest bursting out of one, and this person basically melting in acid rain. Or no, I feel like it's a wall of acid and basically just burns him from between his legs up and through.
Nice. The end of your turn, you need to make a Constitution saving throw, please.
Okay. I'm gonna say, everyone, I'm feeling really stiff lately. I failed again.
How many failures is that?
I think I've failed every time. 3?
Okay. All of you see Sisk do this spell and look pleased before their skin turns full gray and their form shifts into their natural form and they are replaced by a statue. As
Don't
you all-
even think about laughing, Kay. Rude.
I just thought you'd go, what the fuck?
As you all stand there seeing this, Violet unconscious on the ground, Varric looks at Sisk as the statue, bleeding out of his side profusely, and looks over at his girls. And you see him just kind of hobble back onto his butt, breathing heavily, still conscious, but very injured. Does anyone wish to do anything before I have Andrew roll another Constitution saving throw?
Cry?
Yeah, yes. No. Oh well. I'd like to storm over to Papa Tavish and just look at him and like pointing at Sis, like, can you fix this?
As you say that, he's just kind of beside himself for a moment, looking at Kay, or at Sisk, and he needs to make an Arcana check. He's a little bit disoriented. Kalea could. I think. I'm not sure. I don't. Andrew, could you make a Constitution saving throw, please?
Kay, cut that shit out. I'm so mad at you.
Just trying to bring the realism.
I got a 9.
How many failures is that for you?
2 failures.
Well, hang on a second. Then that means that Kay only failed twice.
That's what I thought too, because I've only rolled 3 times.
Right. And you
I
would
failed
be
the f-
rolling before them. Well, the
I-
first save doesn't count as the in the total.
We've
Okay,
rolled
I was
the same
counting.
amount of times.
Right. And that was your third roll that you've done. Right. I thought we were a little bit off there. Kay is not, or Sisk is not quite a statue yet.
Yet.
Whew.
I will fail another
I
save.
will say that just to keep things narratively synchronous, I will say that Sisk can feel what's happening to them, and they consciously are unable to keep their form. We'll just go with that.
That works.
You see your father like reach into a pouch and pull out a potion and guzzle it. Some of the blood kind of stifles a bit, and he tosses one to 80 as well. It's a greater healing potion if you want to consume it.
Yes, thank you.
Anyone doing anything?
I'm looking at all my spells, like anything I can do. If
You're about to make another save, so
I'm gonna
I'll
go over and cast. Hold on. I'm gonna cast resistance, so you can
Ooh.
add a D4.
that'll be nice.
Go ahead and if you were also going to do something for yourself, Kay, you could do that before Sisk has to do the Constitution save.
I was thinking about like borrowed knowledge, thinking about Arcana, but then I'd just like have the answer in my brain and be petrified, so that doesn't help anybody. That's a nat. Is that a nat 1?
I don't know. Was it a nat 1?
Yep.
Yes. +3.
Now Sisk is turned into a statue on the natural 1.
I just cannot roll. Oh my goodness.
You all see Sisk's form become statuesque, and you can also see Violet's skin starting to turn that same kind of ashen gray. Do you want to do resistance on Violet as well?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Okay. Violet, anyone doing anything else?
I've been looking through all my stuff. I don't really have anything.
Violet has to do another Constitution saving throw. She gets a bonus D4 on it this time.
It's a 9.
That's a failure. That's your third, right? You all see Violet's form become rigid, the magic taking hold as they turn into a statue as well. Varric tries to stand himself up. He reaches out to 80 to help him up. He's still pretty injured even after consuming the small healing potion that he did use.
Mirror
Coughs a bit.
rounds on him. What the fuck?
What do you mean? What do you mean? What the fuck?
You clearly got followed.
Yes, I did.
I thought you were smarter than that.
This was not what was supposed to happen.
Bren tried to keep us from coming, and I didn't listen to him like an idiot. We should have just gone.
Where's your mother?
What do you mean?
Did she not get to you?
She didn't say she was coming.
This wasn't part of the plan.
What was the plan?
I was trying to lure them away from you. She was going to intercept you on the way here.
She told me that you were coming out to meet us.
God. Hang on. Let me try something. He goes into his pouch. You see him rummaging through a whole series of scrolls in a scroll case. He goes and pulls one of them out. And you can see that, like, the blood on his hands is, smearing into the scroll, and he's shaking profusely as he does this. Go ahead and give me an Arcana check, Deb.
going to use my other advantage.
We also got advantages from Adrian, so thank you,
Oh,
Adrian.
yeah.
Oh, thanks, Adrian.
That's much better. That's a 24.
Mira is very practiced in seeing scrolls of arcane power. She's been looking at them nonstop for a long time at this point. And she recognizes a Dispel Magic scroll in his hand. He seems to be attempting to use it on one of your companions. But I think it's fair to say that Mira doesn't have a lot of confidence in his ability to do so at the moment.
Would I feel confident using it instead?
You feel more confident than he does. Do you feel more confident in yourself doing it than allowing him to do it?
I will snatch it from him.
You yank it out of his hand. He just kind of stares down into his empty hands for a moment before slowly raising his head up to you. You can try that. That's what I have.
Will it work on both of them?
It depends on what this is exactly. I don't recognize the source of it, so I can't say for certain. But it's worth a try. This doesn't feel like a usual spell. This doesn't feel like the norm. This feels like something outside of the planes that has done this. So I don't think it's like what we're used to, and this might work. That's all I've got. I'm sorry. I truly am.
I'm going to look at 80 and Bren. I can try this right now. Or I can try to cast a ritual to help me detect magic and see if I can get any more information to see if it'll help. But it's going to take a couple minutes.
I mean, we should do that. We can try to get to cover. I don't know if we can move them, but Mira, shouldn't you call out to Mom?
I will. This is more important.
Well, but maybe she could help.
Are we sure that that's the best idea?
No.
Okay, good.
Are you okay with me taking a little bit of time to try and do this right?
Yeah. Do what you have to.
I will cast Detect Magic as a ritual spell.
As soon as you start performing the ritual, you feel the magic of it come unbidden into your hand. It's done. All you have to do is snap your fingers. You feel the power. There is a light floating in your hand. The ritual finished before you could even begin it.
I cast it immediately.
You have Detect Magic.
I want to look at both Sisk and Violet and see what I can learn about
Give me an Arcana check.
whatever this is. That is a 15.
This is not a straight up transmutation spell like you've studied in the books before on the various spells that are capable of forcing petrification upon someone. There's enchantment here. There's lingering magic. You can see it on their bodies. You also can feel the fiendish source from which it comes. There are tendrils of darkness that are flowing away from your friends that only you can see right now from your detection.
I am going to... How far apart are they? Are they right next to each other? Like on
They're
the...
right next to each other.
Okay. I am going to pull out the heart and hold it. Ada, you grab Sisk's hand.
Yeah. She will.
And Violet's hand. And then I will reach out and put my hand on Adie's heart, holding this spell scroll, and try and use it on both of them.
Okay. Give me a spellcaster ability check, please. An 80, please make a charisma saving throw. Sorry. Almost said constitution. Charisma saving throw.
I like that better.
Is
Figured you
there
would.
something that I can do?
How would you be able to affect an ability check or a saving throw in this case? If you can do either of those things, then yes, whatever you want to do can have an effect. Otherwise, you can just try something.
I got
You're
a
pretty good at
25.
shenanigans.
I'm good. No, thank you, but no, I'll let them.
25 charisma saving throw. Great.
Mhm.
I rolled a 16.
Okay. As you read through this scroll, the words are familiar. They're easy. You remember months ago how doing this very thing, how reading this very arcana was hard. How difficult it was to get the words just right, to get the inflection, to get the speed, to get the concentration. There was so many aspects, so many little tiny details that were so difficult for you to do. But this time, it's not difficult at all. You read through the scroll with a practiced ease almost. You feel the magic of it alight in both of your hands as the scroll vanishes into nothingness and you hold two motes of light. You bring your hands together and place them onto Adie's heart, and you see them split, flowing across her chest, up into her shoulders, down each of her arms, and out to Violet and Sisk. As soon as the light touches your friends, you can see the ashen gray of their forms, like a ripple down their bodies, wash away, and their normal colorations return. Breathing comes moments after that, and a slight bit of movement as well, although Violet is still unconscious. Sisk, mid reaching out with your hand from having done the acid spell from before, your arm falls and you take a breath as everyone does a collective sigh of relief. We will reach out and thank Stronghold D&D for the raid. Thanks, guys. Welcome in, raiders. Just in time for some dramatics, as we are accustomed to doing around here. 80 at this point, or actually Bren, I guess, would notice this. 80 would not. I feel like 80, well, we'll get to what 80 sees in a moment, but Bren, you would notice that Varric has kind of moved off to the side a little bit. He's still staying close to his daughters, but you can tell there is a disappointment in himself, and that there's also a bit of fear that he doesn't know exactly what has happened. Something didn't go the way it was supposed to. 80, as this magic washed over you, you were concentrating as much as you could. You knew what Mira was trying and how important it was. So you were focused almost exclusively on just trying to be there for her with whatever she needed, even if it was a little bit confusing for you. And you closed your eyes. And everything went black. Couldn't hear anything. You couldn't see anything. There was just this void of nothingness. And several motes of light began to twinkle in the distance of this nothingness, as if you were looking up at a night sky. Before all of a sudden you're drawn back into everything and everyone's collective sigh of relief, and you see Sisk and Violet's form returning to normal.
Um, 80 is covered in a lot of blood, too much blood. And she'll, I think she'll like continue holding both of their hands just to feel physical warmth coming from them. And just sort of close her eyes and focus on that, on grounding herself with that.
I think in this moment, Bren also notices that he's completely covered in blood too.
Someone else's blood, but
although
I think you got a good bit of your own blood in there too, huh?
It's a bit. There's a percentage. So he starts to walk over to that small body of water to kind of like wash off his hands and his face. But when he passes the twins, he stops and he goes, "You need to speak to your father and figure out what's going on." And then just goes to go clean himself off.
Does Sisk do anything?
I'm going to be just seeing to Violet, making sure she's comfortable for when she gets up, and also kind of shaking out the rock.
Okay. As you're doing that, we'll get back to the twins in a second. You all can turn and look back at Varric glancing out the corner of your eye or looking at him directly. It doesn't matter. He's not trying to hide anything as he's thumbing through his scrolls, and he pulls out another scroll and he starts to read it.
What is that?
It's ascending. I'm going to try and reach out to your mother.
No.
What do you mean no? She was supposed to... This wasn't supposed to happen this way. She was supposed to find you and warn you, and then you were all supposed...
That's not what she told me. So I'm not super inclined to trust her right now.
Mira, she's your mother.
And we all almost died.
Yes, and I'm very glad that we didn't. But if she didn't find you, she might be dead
She
or in
didn't
danger.
tell me that part of the plan. She said I was supposed to meet you.
Yes. Here. Look, I don't know every detail, obviously, but the plan that we discussed, these individuals, as he looks at the clergy with a distinct amount of disgust, along with several of their companions, were trying to find you. We knew that they were using magic on someone, and they knew that you were north of the city. They didn't know exactly where. They planned something to go and find you. 8 of them left, with apparently several more close behind. Your mother and I came up with a plan to try and split them up a bit. To take them away from you, in a way. Deal with them in small groups. I was the bait for that. Once they caught wind of me moving through the forest, like we had hoped, some of them moved off and started following me, thinking that I would lead them to you. But she was supposed to find you before that, to warn you. We couldn't trust the magic because of how they were watching you.
Why involve us at all? Why not just follow them into the forest and deal with
Because
them?
They were coming after you, and if we let them get to you as a group, we weren't sure what would happen. We thought that if we could split them up a bit, we might be able to deal with them more directly. Please, let me try and see if your mother is alive.
I'll look over to 80.
I mean, I'd like to know. Wouldn't you like to know?
Sometimes the cost is too high.
What does that even mean? Mira, she's your mother. She is my wife.
Why do you trust the magic now?
Because they weren't watching her. They
You
were
don't know
watching.
that. You don't know that. Do what you're gonna do. And I'll turn my back and walk over by Bren.
Adie just sort of looks down at her feet for a second, and Mira, you'd feel lingering confusion from wherever her mind went. And then a mix of like disappointment and fear and love and anger, and it's all sort of swirling around. But as you step away, you would feel coming to the forefront just shame and sadness. And as you're walking over to Bryn, she would grab your hand and just, I don't know what happened. I'm sorry. I tried to attack you. I didn't. I'm sorry.
It's not your fault.
But
It's what the clergy do.
yeah,
They turn good people against each other.
and you just feel like an ache in her heart.
Squeeze your hand.
She doesn't really say anything else.
You all hear Varric slowly turn, start walking away. Doesn't take a lot of perception to also hear the mournful sorrow coming from him as he is obviously crying. He stumbles a bit on a few of the steps, but he does keep walking.
I think they intercepted your mom first.
I think so too.
Haiti can feel the overwhelming, crushing sadness coming from Varric. And she can hear him stumbling over the attempted words of trying to use the scroll of sending.
She was already quietly crying, but I think now it sort of comes back a bit, and she'll just keep standing where she is and holding Mira's hand.
I think Sisk is looking between the two, and neither of them is moving. Take care of Violet, and Sisk is gonna go after their dad, Varric, and just
He's only like 15, 20 feet away at this point. Like, he's not moving fast. Like, he's stumbling. You easily catch up over to him.
Yeah, I'll catch up with him. I'll try to sit him down somewhere more comfortable.
As you approach him, he like jerks back away from you at first, startled because he didn't hear you coming.
Mm-hmm.
To like lost in the sauce, so to speak. And
the bad sauce.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
He looks at you for several moments, and you see somebody that is looking at you in your natural form.
Oh, yeah.
But he doesn't have the usual shock or revulsion. that someone does when they see you in your normal form, or when they're surprised by your normal form. You know, when you have your commoner appearance and then change into that, it's usually a stark thing that catches most people off guard. But for him, he doesn't express that. Maybe he's just too overwhelmed by what's happening around, but he just kind of looks at you for several long moments. You see the incredible amount of tears in his eyes as he blinks and tries to wipe them away, having kind of given up on trying to very unsuccessfully use a scroll of magic. And he's just, his voice quivering. I didn't. None of this was supposed to happen. I'm so sorry.
I'm very sorry. Are you happy? I'm so sorry for your loss.
Feel like I would know if she was dead. But I can't think of any other explanation. And he just kind of like falls into you, Sisk, and just starts sobbing. Like you can feel and see his body quaking from the pain.
Yeah, I'll be there, be the rock and in the storm and just try to sit him down, get at least kind of comfortable, even as he's like heaving and whatever. Just kind of being there.
What are the rest of you doing?
I think when Varric sort of breaks a little bit, I think 80 would feel that and her knees would buckle. Just with the grief of something that may or may not have happened, and then just the overwhelm of this whole situation. She would just fall to her knees.
I look over at Bren. You were right. This was a bad idea.
How's your father?
I don't know. Not good, I assume.
And you're just gonna leave him like that?
What am I supposed to do?
You and your sister go over to him and be his daughters. He just lost his wife, or he thinks he did. Don't make him feel like he's losing his kids.
He is, though.
You don't have to send him off like that, though. Go. I'll have more time to boast about how right I was, but right now is not the time. Come on, go. Stop looking at me. And he kind of shows you. Tell your father you love him. Not a lot of people have that chance.
Love you too.
I know. But I don't need that right now. He does.
I'll go over and kind of lean down next to 80 and help her up.
I don't know if she's okay or not. He doesn't know if she's okay or not, but I don't know what to do.
Come on.
She'll follow.
As soon as we're over by Varric, Mira's gonna pull out her spell book and write a message to Kalea. Dad thinks you're dead. If you're not, send a message.
As you're walking over and you pull out your book and start scribing this, you see Kalea's name in the book. It's still there. It's got that same slight shimmer of magic to it that the ink leaves behind when the name is scribed in. You write your message below the name. As you write, the ink disappears, as expected. See Kalea's name alight with a magical brilliance for a moment. The waves of it rippling from the start to the end. It worked. You're certain that if she could not receive that message, there would be no magic there, that it wouldn't finish. And as you wait for a response, you realize you were holding your breath until it becomes a little bit painful. And then you let out a gasp as you see ink starting to form on the page. But it's not in your mother's handwriting. It's jagged. It's rough. It's a line, slowly, almost as if it were ripping a page, like a pen driven too far through parchment and tearing a letter instead. See the first mark, and then another mark across it, like an X, slowly torn through the page as if the ink were tearing the page itself. And the X fades.
I don't think she's dead, but it's probably not good. And I will show both 80 and Varric that Kalea's name is still there.
Varric kind of pulls himself off of Sisk's now horrendously wet shoulder. Eyes puffy and red at this point as he looks at you and then looks down at the page with her name and then looks back up at you, and you can see that there's a glimmer of hope there. And he just falls forward into you, Mira, wrapping you in his arms, pushing the book out of the way and just holding you tight. Still sobbing.
I'm gonna grab 80 and pull her in.
As you do, he pulls back enough to have one arm over each of you, pulling you both into a tight, sorrowful, crying hug.
Mira would feel a surge of gratitude from 80.
Zisk and Bren, do you guys do anything?
Nope.
I think Sisk just kind of. I don't think Sisk moves from where they are. They're just kind of, I think, disassociate a little bit, staring into the. Is it the woods that were nearby? And just also just crying. This is just. They're also it's a big cry fest.
So I'm just going to point out that you all need to take a short rest for Violet. So you guys can all take a short rest and spend any hit dice and do all of the things that you need to do on a short rest. Is there anything in particular that you would like to do during that time while you wait for Violet to become conscious once again?
I think Bren will just kind of be sitting next to her, waiting for her to come to.
I think 80's pretty quiet. She'll stay with Mira. And if Mira stays by Dad, all the better, because she'd like to be there with him. But if she were to leave or anything, 80 would follow her.
I would stay there knowing that it's what 80 needs.
Barrick doesn't really say or do much. You hear him kind of muttering into himself every now and then. He seems to like go into a pouch and then stop. He seems just a little bit flustered himself. He's also quite injured, and at some point he does pull out some bandages and start trying to bandage the two of you up in addition to himself. You note that he's actually really good at that. Apparently has had to do it before. At least it seems as though his hand is very practiced, as shaky as it might be at the moment given the emotions of everything going on. Seems to be good at dressing injury. A little bit of time passes, and Violet starts to stir. Eyes coming open as she awakens, looks up and sees Bren standing there or sitting beside her.
Hey, take it easy.
What happened?
A lot. I mean, we can talk about it later.
Oh, I feel so stiff.
Part of what happened, but you're fine now.
What's going on? Violet will just go to sleep.
Yeah. What's going on? Yeah. That's about right.
As Violet kind of nods off for a second, doesn't really go to sleep per se, but some of the exhaustion of what happened kind of kicking in, and her muscles still feeling quite a bit tense. Mira is startled as she hears Phelan's voice in her mind. Mira, where are you? Have you been taken? The clergy are here. Oriana's catatonic wren is missing. Please tell me you're all right.
We're fine. We're on our way.
You felt the magic connect, obviously, that he would receive that message. But at the same time, you can almost feel the emotions that came through from that and the genuine fear in Phelan's voice.
We need to go now.
What?
You see Varric kind of bolt upright as well.
They made it to the ship. Ren's missing. Oriana's... We need to go.
How far do we have to go?
Far.
How far? Tell me as specifically as you can.
Into the mountains.
All right, fine. I'm going to help. You can't do anything about it. As he reaches into his vest and you see him pull out a rod. It's about 18 inches in length, and all across the diameter of it, you see clouds magically inscribed, the full length. This is not going to be easy. None of you have ever traveled this way before. Just try to hold on to your minds and focus on your destination and each other. You will feel the magic that connects you. You will feel it guide you. Just try to hold on to your minds. And then he slams the rod into the ground. And all of you can see a gust of wind erupt from underneath of it. And as the wind starts flowing and cascading out, it's almost like a fountain in reverse being pressed into the ground itself. The grass starts moving rapidly in all directions as this gale force wind starts accumulating at everyone's feet. And all of you can feel your forms starting to shift, starting to change. You feel your bodies transforming into wisps, becoming light, airy, free of the weight of your normal form. Slowly, the ground disappears beneath you as you start to float up into the space above. And suddenly you feel yourselves being pulled into the sky as you ascend upward. I need for each of you to please roll a wisdom saving throw.
Said wisdom?
Wisdom saving throw.
I'm going to use one of our advantages.
I got some advantages from before, so I don't know if you guys want to use them or not. But
I got 19. I hope that's enough.
I also got
19 is pretty damn good.
17.
22.
Violet?
I got 15.
Great. You guys feel your minds connected slightly. You can't feel each other's thoughts. You can't read each other's minds. It's not like that as much as you just somehow consciously are aware of each other's presence despite being near invisible motes of air. And you feel yourselves all gliding up, soaring over the landscape faster than anything you've ever moved before. Violet in particular is reminded of her dream, her waking dream, the visions that she had of soaring across the sky, and it feels so much like that. You are moving at ridiculous pace. What would have taken days on foot now passes beneath you in hours instead. The speed of all of this, exhilarating in a lot of ways. It's like being carried by the most powerful wind that you've ever felt. The chill of the mountain air rushes around you, through you, cool and sharp, but it doesn't slow you down in the slightest. You glide effortlessly over the various steep crags and forested slopes of these mountains that you have traversed on foot so many times. You weave between the jagged peaks, skimming over each crevice. You feel this pull of the wind, this rush of air streaming past, and the constant, steady push forward. And you can only surmise that this must be what it's like to ride the very breadth of a storm. Eventually, as you crest past a familiar peak, you see the sight of the airship coming into view. What should have taken you days was just hours. There it is, nestled in the same spot that you left it, perched on a rocky ledge amongst these peaks. There's a part of your consciousness, as flighty as that consciousness might be at the moment, there's a part of you that knows that your airship is on the verge of being ready to fly. And there's a wave of anxiety that washes over you as you hope that the clergy haven't realized it yet. Because as you start descending slowly, you notice figures in dark armor moving around the ship. Their red cloaks billowing in the mountain breeze, obviously delving into the inner workings. They're focused on their task, though. You can't quite tell from this distance if they figured anything out about how to even fly the ship, much less what it is. You search for any sign of your friends. Brianna, Ren, Balin, even Lyra. But you don't see them. They're nowhere. Everything is eerily quiet on this site. There's an obvious tension in the air and the threat of the situation. You can feel it gripping your hearts like a vice. You start to approach a rocky outcropping overlooking the ship. And somehow you know that this transformation, that it took a while when it started, and it's going to take some time to end as well. And so, communally, you guide yourselves to a nearby outcropping that doesn't look above the ship, but it does offer a small amount of overlook anyway. And you feel this bizarre mix of sensations as your bodies begin to regain their weight and solidity. You feel the cool air first as it presses upon your skin, and the sound of the winds changes as it whistles in your ears once again. You find yourselves coalesced into your normal forms as you crouch behind the rocks, and all of you, surprised at what that was, take breaths in your lungs as if it's the first time breathing. What do you do? Varric is there with you, by the way. He has a little bit more grace from it. He seems to have done it before. This strange wind transformation. And so he's not quite as disoriented as the rest of you, but you can still tell that he has some injury as he just braces himself against the ground and starts talking in hushed tones. Is everyone all right? I know I know that that's rough. I'm sorry. It was all that I could do.
We're here. So that's good. What do we do now? How do we...
Where is here even? I was just following all of you and where your consciousnesses were leading. I don't even... He kind of looks around at the surrounding mountains, taking it in at how high up you all are.
We're in the Storm Song Mountains.
Right. Yes. Yes. And you can see his mind kind of wrapping himself around what happened. And that ship.
It crashed a little while back. That's some of us followed it as it fell.
It's an airship. It flies. We're
Wait,
fixing it up.
Is this the meteor?
Yeah.
You remember the map I showed you?
Yes.
Came from the ship.
Right. Okay. Right. Just give me a second here, please. And he kind of just slumps back onto his butt, trying to collect himself.
So, unfortunately, we don't have a second. We need to figure something out now, or we won't have a ship.
Does one of us have message? We can see if Phelan and the folks are nearby, or 'cause I don't think I'm really seeing them.
You're probably a little bit too far distant for message. Probably a couple 100 feet away from it at this point.
I can... Their name is in my book. I can send something. So I'll pull my book out and write a message.
To Phelan?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're near the ship. Where are you?
The writing comes back quickly, and although Phelan's handwriting isn't beautiful by any stretch of the imagination, you easily recognize the natural practiced strokes of their hand as they reply with, Oriana and I are held below. She's still unconscious, Don't know where Ren is. Be careful. One of them is very powerful.
Okay.
As she's doing that, is anyone, I'm assuming someone is looking in the direction of the ship. Yes?
Yep.
From your hidden vantage in these rocks, you watch the clergy moving methodically around the ship. And your eyes are drawn to the main deck as a figure comes up from below. Tall, bald man with a stern, commanding presence. His skin is pale, his eyes cold, piercing, and glowing with a strange, unnatural light. In his hand, you can see he grips a staff that is crowned with a fiery red gem that pulsates like a beating heart. This is Chokran, the notorious member of the clergy that you have heard mentioned a few times before. His presence is imposing as his gaze sweeps across to the ship, overseeing the inspection with an air of ruthless authority that chills everything in his vicinity. And as you take in the sight of him, all of you can feel Violet tense beside you. You see her breath catch, her hands clench into fists. Violet, a sudden heat rushes through you, boiling your blood with anger, fear even, as memories come flooding back. The pain that Chokran and his fanaticism have caused you. Violet, you can't take your eyes off of him. This man responsible for so much suffering. You know in your heart that this confrontation is long overdue.
Adi feels that in Violet and will just grab one of her clenched fists with both of her hands, try to have her relax it, open the hand up and link their fingers, and just stand there with her as she's feeling this.
I think you just hear Violet trying to regulate her breath. It's just really hyper focused, and it's just the sight of him is just all consuming for her right now.
Adi will try to take steady breaths and still being conscientious of staying quiet, will sort of exaggerate the breathing so maybe Violet can hear and catch on. We'll get rid of him in the way that you want.
As you say that, 80, the two of you are most present to the edge as you're glancing over the edge and looking towards the ship. 80 spots first. Violet a moment after that. Chokran's gaze is turned up towards you. A couple 100 feet away that you are, how hidden you are amongst the rock, it's not enough as the glowing orbs of eyes fix you with their gaze. Two of you see his body turn slowly as he clutches the staff at his hand, and his body floats upwards, bidden by magic to fly into the sky above with practiced ease. All of you are alerted to this by the gasps or subtle noise or devastating emotions that are radiating off of 80 at this moment. All of you can feel it now. And you look up and you see this robed man starting to float towards you. There's a fear that rises up within you, almost unbidden. But you keep to it. At this point, several of you are more than battle-hardened enough to know that fear is the enemy's best weapon. And they wield it very, very well. As he floats now 30, 40 feet away from you, you hear his voice. It's calm as the day, carried by the winds of the mountains in a way, with his robes rippling from the gusts. You hear him say, "Well, well, well. I wondered how long it would take to lure you home. And you see him kind of looking at each of you before his eyes affix to Varric. I have a present for you, my boy. And he says boy with that arrogance of someone that has probably lived for far too long. And he snaps his fingers, and appearing in his hand, you see a cage. And within that cage, a small squirrel, gray and white of fur. And with a wicked smile, he flings it down at your feet as it shatters upon the rocks. You all jump back, ready for whatever magic or assault or whatever is supposed to happen, but the squirrel just lays there in a heap. And then as you blink, the squirrel takes the form of Kalea. You can see that she has been horribly beaten, probably to within an inch of her life. As the magic of the polymorph wears off, she barely clings to consciousness. You can see that in her gaze, she is fighting against herself, trying to get her wits about her, having been possessed of the intelligence of a squirrel. Now, all of her mental wherewithal starting to come back. She kind of rolls over in fear, and her eyes open. And she looks around and sees all of you, sees Varric, sees 80, sees Mira, and that's where her gaze stops. And tears start to fall from her eyes. There's a moment here that it seems as though Chokran is waiting. What do you do?
Mira pulls out the heart of Orlumis. And holds it high enough that everyone can see it. Are you ready to go against the gods?
Oh, my poor dear. You know nothing of gods. And he unleashes a blast of magic from an outstretched hand that moved so quickly you could not possibly react. There's an arcane phrase that comes from his lips so quickly. He utters a final, damning word of arcane magic. You all watch in horror as a blinding, white-hot light rips through the air, slamming down into the space around you. You're blinded for a moment, but you feel no pain until 80 feels the agony of her mother being engulfed by this blast. Form disintegrates to dust before your eyes, leaving nothing but an empty void where she once laid, scorch mark upon the ground outline of her body. The shock and grief hit you all like a physical blow, but none more so than 80. And for a moment, the world is deathly silent, as if the very air has been sucked out of your lungs. And then something inside of 80 breaks open. A raw, primal scream of agony and rage tearing from her throat. The sound reverberates through the air, unnatural and terrifying, shaking the ground beneath your feet. And as her scream echoes across the mountain, the sky above you suddenly goes dark. The light is swallowed by an immense inky blackness that spreads out from 80 like a tidal wave, blanketing everything in a night that should not be. Stars begin to appear, twinkling within the darkness, more vibrant and brilliant than any you've ever seen, as if a window to the cosmos has been ripped open. 80's body lifts off of the ground, floating upward as if pulled by an unseen force. She is shrouded in a swirling, iridescent energy that crackles with power. Her form silhouetted against the chaotic sea of stars behind her. Her hair and clothes whip around violently in this tempest of magic. Her eyes glow with a fierce, unyielding light. A pulse of raw energy surges outward from her, the air itself humming with power, and you can feel it, all of you, in your bones, a deep, thrumming vibration that resonates the very fabric of reality around you. The ground beneath her splinters and cracks, and the stars above seem to bend and twist to her form, drawn into this storm of power. Chokran's eyes widen in fear as he watches this transformation. You see him floating backwards as if stumbling. His confident facade has been completely shattered, and his voice trembles as he mutters, "It cannot be. An Aetherborn, it cannot." And before he can even utter another word, 80 lets out another scream. This one even more powerful and filled with pure, unbridled rage. This iridescent energy surrounding her intensifies, coalescing into a blinding beam of light. And with a final furious cry, she thrusts her hands forward, and the beam explodes outward, a torrent of raw magic that tears through the air like judgment. As this beam strikes Chokran, in an instant, he's obliterated. His form is consumed by the light holy, disintegrated into nothingness, just as he did to their mother. Force of the blast sends shockwaves rippling outward. It shakes the mountain that you stand on. You hear screams. You can't quite make out from who, but you can only surmise that it must be the clergy. As the beam fades, the stars still glowing bright, the darkness not receding, 80 hovers there, her body trembling with this unleashed power. And that's where we're going to call it tonight, ladies and gentlemen.